what is the most valuable use of your time? Now, time is our greatest commodity. You know, we can have gold, we can have silver, we can have platinum, we can have diamonds, we can have all these different precious metals or things like this. Bitcoins, we can have bitcoins or what have you. But time is our greatest commodity. One thing I learned years ago, which put it into perspective for me, was that you can have an older person that's up there in age and they can have tons of money, just be loaded like you don't know what. And they are up there in age, so they're coming closer to their demise. And they would gladly trade, this was a statement I heard, they would gladly trade all of their money for the youth of a young person who might not even have much and just live in the ghetto or live in an urban neighborhood or what have you. They would trade all that money to have the youth and the time that a young person has. And when I heard that, yes, it was a statement, but it just put things into perspective of how truly valuable our time is. And what happens is as we're younger, we are thinking ahead and we're kind of quote unquote wasting time. We're attempting to get to that money and get all the stuff like that, when the reality is the wealth that we have is the time, the potential in that time, the experiences that we can create in that time. So my question again from the beginning is, what is the most valuable use of your time? And I'm going to say that it is making memories, having experiences. Let's go back with that same similar story. I've seen many people come towards the end of their life, and one of the things that they are, and I use the word regretful of, is they waste their time searching after the riches as opposed to spending quality time with their family and creating memories, and missing out on different things with their children as the children are growing up. And I've heard stories time and time again. You probably have heard some as well too. And us in this position now, where we are, obviously we're able to watch videos, we're able to create videos, so we're not in that stage, but we have time now that we can actually do those things. We want to learn from people that have gone on before us and learn so that we can actually do better. So going through life, kind of just wasting time is not the way we're supposed to live life. We should value every moment that we have, treasure and create wonderful memories and experiences. Years ago, I'll say this, even when we used to go on vacation, we go on vacation regularly, but I didn't want to just keep going to the same place. And this is what I share with my family, that I wanted to create experiences for them. Because we experienced, like we went to Disney. And we used to go to Disney almost all the time down in Florida. And it was great. We had a wonderful time, but it was the same experience over and over again. So what we ended up doing was now going to different places to create different experiences, create different memories. And it was really so rewarding, fulfilling. Now I see my children going to places I've never been to before, doing things I've never done before. But it's really getting into living for the experiences that life has to offer. God didn't create us just to keep going through the same thing over and over and over again, but live and create different experiences and create different memories. So again, I'll go back to that question. What is the most valuable thing that we can really trade our time for? And that is creating wonderful memories during our life. There's a story in the Bible that I'm going to kind of go off from this, and it's from the book of Matthew, chapter 25. And it's talking about the parable of the talents. And, you could have the Bible, and we're not going to go like that deep into it. It's a wonderful story. It's like one of my favorite stories in the Bible. And you might hear me say that again about another chapter as well, but this is really one of my favorite. You might hear me say that too. With the parable of the talents. And there's so many lessons that we can learn from this, but just one off the surface, and it's just a surface lesson, is how there's three servants that were given talents. So the master gave them some talents. And they were, some of them were faithful over them. They actually increased the talents, they doubled it. And they basically did it by trading. So they traded what they had for something of greater value. They traded what they had for something of greater value. And they were the good servants. And what do we all have? We have time. And what are we trading it for? Because even, you got to think about it really, because the moments that we have right now, we're trading it for something, and it should be of greater value than the time. Now, if you're just trading it for watching Netflix or Hulu or any of those things, just kind of, and I'll say that as wasted time. Even though, yes, there's time to relax, I do it as well too, to enjoy yourself, to rest after you've done some work, after you've been productive. But if we are constantly in the process of trading our time for those kind of things that yields no results in our life, then we are trading something of great value, time, for something of little value. Whereas if we trade time, exchange our time for wonderful memories, wonderful experiences, then as we get older, guess what? We're going to look back and say, you know what, that time was well spent. Even as people come to the end of their lives, that time was well spent because I have this memory of going the motorbiking. I had this memory of going fishing. I had a great memory of going fishing. Even though the experience was terrible, but the memory was fantastic. We didn't have a good time fishing. We got seasick and all stuff like that. But the memory, we'll laugh about it till I'm gone. It was a great memory. So we can trade our time for these great memorable experiences, which will be so much more valuable than the time if we traded it for something else, just what I say is wasted time. So one more thing I'm going to say with this as well is once we progress in life and so forth, and I learned a lot by looking, and we're supposed to learn a lot by looking at those who are ahead of us. We're either going to have some great, wonderful memories and experiences that we're very proud of and we're very fond of, or on the flip side, there'll be some times of regret. It's like almost like a balancing thing, that we'll have some great experiences, or we're going to have some regret. Some great memories, or we're going to have some regret. Some fond thoughts of loved ones we're with, or we're going to have some regret. So it's almost like if I had a drawing board, I would do it better on a drawing board. But it's like a scale, so a sliding scale. So you got to figure, this is regret, this is great experiences. So now, if we have a little bit of regret and we have more great experiences, then overall we're going to be happy, even towards the end of our life, even when someone is no longer in our life. But if the regrets outweighs our pleasurable experiences, then that actually really affects how we can deal with someone that is no longer with us. So I'm going to do this video again when I can do more of a drawing. I like to do drawing as well too. So the point being is create more memorable experiences with your loved ones as opposed to not. Because the more you can create of the memorable experiences, the less regret that you'll have when they're no longer in your life. When either they're not around, you're not around. However, the less memorable experiences that you create, the more opportunity you're leaving for there to be regret when there's that separation, which is inevitable for all of us. All right, so again, if you can picture it, I'm going to do it again. I'm telling you, I'll do it with the drawing. It'll make a lot more sense. Create more memorable experiences. Trade your time for something that is more valuable, which is great memories, great experiences, and that's it for this video. I'm going to end it with, you don't have to go through grief alone, because as you see on this video, we can be growing through grief together.